Mighty timely arrival there, my
Puppy.
friend. I'm much obliged.
You're welcome.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
It's a bit complicated, but you're welcome to come along.
Complicated? Somehow I imagine that only says half of it. Thank you for the offer, but there may be more excitement on your path than is good for my boy and me. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune.
Aw,
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
I love them.
Bad dreams, huh?
Must have been something I ate.
Drank more like, as in the tainted blood, remember?
What?
You
I
see-
didn't do that.
Part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
Why didn't Duncan just tell everyone that? Like, he should have just said, like, hey, I drank some Darkspawn blood and now this happens. It's a fucking blight.
He did. He said he felt the Archdemon's presence. Everyone just assumed he was guessing. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me, too.
Any other surprises I should know
Other
about?
than dying young and the whole defeat the Blight alone thing, no. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Feddick, at your service, once again. I saw your camp and remembered the kind offer that you made the last time we met. And is there anywhere safer for a poor merchant and his son to sleep? I think not. I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
You're free to stay, just mind yourself.
Wonderful. Thank the kind lady, won't you, boy?
Thank you, kind lady.
It won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If you should need enchantments, simply talk to my boy. Otherwise, come speak with me.
Why are we stopping?
We're working together, I think I should get to know
There
you.
are Darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Are you alright? You were in that cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
You said you were in the army.
I am.
Why would the Qunari send soldiers here?
The Antam are the eyes, hands, and mouth of the Qunari. We are how my people know the world.
Basically, kind of like a prophet, but slightly different. I've never seen Qunari
No.
before. Please?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Alright. A little hostile.
Many humans have said that to me. I do not understand it. If I were indeed hostile, you would be bleeding.
So this is you being calm and helpful.
Couldn't you tell?
You know what? I don't like that answer.
As you wish.
I didn't like that. Oh, wait, hold on. I just like talking to him.
What do you wish of me?
I would like to ask you
If
something.
you must.
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Hey, the Dalish shoe that took. Just kidding. Your mother has been doing this for a long time.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
There have been Dalish keepers who use similar
Oh?
magic.
Then I have no doubt your people do much to keep their talents well hidden from humans. I wonder if I was to ask one of your keepers of the origin of their magics, if there would be any relation to what I was taught.
We don't know much about our origins, I'm afraid.
Ah, this makes sense according to what I know of the elves. Alas,
This is very interesting dialogue.
the form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Do you spend a lot of
There
time as
were
an animal?
nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
What do other animals think of
They
you?
do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Can anyone become a shapeshanger?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell, and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am
What
I
did
an
I just tell
unnatural
you about the
abomination
Dalish?
to be put to the torch? A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But
I
enough
just
of
told
such
you the
talk.
Dalish
Let us
have the same
proceed, lest the
magic.
dust gather on us.
I just told you the Dalish have the same magic.
I await your command.
So life in the
At times,
wilds.
perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
That sounds wonderful.
For a time. But one can only remain a child for so long.
Fair
I
enough.
recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I
She
snuck up
likes
behind
bright and
her
shiny
and
objects,
stole a
like
hand
crown.
mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I
Valid.
would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
They made you stronger, didn't they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
I love that she still thinks about that.
Yes. Well, here I am.
What was life like in the Chantry?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Yes, they tend to... Oh, wait. I like the third option, though. That's why I'm not particularly fond of
When I
them.
talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
What did you say to them?
What can I say to them? What they believe is what the Chantry says, and the Chantry is infallible, yes?
I wouldn't
Maybe
know.
I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
What would someone
What
like
is
you be
meant
doing
by
in the
someone
Chantry?
like me?
You know, a beautiful, charming woman like yourself.
And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It
I
added
beg
to their
your
mystique.
pardon, ma'am.
Because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no?
I mean, that's what they say.
I did not take those vows that the initiates took. Vows of poverty, chastity, among others. The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
I love how this, like, went from one direction to the other. So your skills were learned before your time in the Chantry.
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
That
I
vision
knew
of
this
yours.
would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in.
What then?
When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
And this made you want to help
In my
me?
dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
I suppose I can sit by
That is
either.
why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop.
Yeah, I know, but I fuck around anyways for, like, most of
Yes?
the year. Interesting. Alright. Alistair,
What do you need?
do you want to talk about this?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
That doesn't mean I don't mourn his loss.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
That's an excellent
I think
idea.
he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. The Dalish don't practice cremation, do they? How do your people honor your dead?
We bury them and plant a tree over their remains.
That sounds quite beautiful. Life springing from death.
There's a place
Thank
in
you.
Olay.
Really,
Called the
I mean
Emerald
it. It was
Graves.
good to talk about it, at least a little.
It's this vast, gigantic forest. And every single tree in that forest is an elf who died fighting for their freedom, essentially, during the wars with, like, the humans and stuff. And it's, like, the most beautiful place in all of Dragon Age. But if you truly think about it, every single one of those trees is somebody's life. So it's, like, super fucked up. I think a few of the trees in the Bristolian forest are the same as well. He was a friend of mine, too.
That's good to hear. It's nice to know I'm not the only one who remembers him well.
Well, he did save me from a, satanic mirror, so there's that. So,
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
haha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
So you mentioned before.
It's really for the best. I'm not exactly the Chantry type, if you haven't noticed. I don't think I would have made a very good Templar. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why would the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow,
Sounds
rather
really
than sitting
weird,
in a
though.
temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have.
Oh. He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of.
Remember, we've
Come
been on the
let's go.
road for like a
I think I'm
month.
done talking.
So you said all Eamon raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised
Oh,
me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Oh, why don't we call them for help? Oh, fuck. That would explain the
Well,
smell.
it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard.
Oh,
And
really?
before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head.
He wasn't your father, so you know who is.
I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol
It's
on
weird
it.
that he wasn't like given a place in
The
like,
only
the
thing I
servants'
had of
quarters.
my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Isle came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
So why have you remained a Templar?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
Oh, so am I. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you
I keep
wearing
it hidden under my pillow. Sometimes I'll take it out just so I can hug it fondly and remember the good old days. Brings a tear to the eyes, What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Anywhere my clan goes is my home.
You must miss them a great deal. Duncan and the Grey Wardens are the closest I ever got to that kind of family. We won't always be traveling like this, Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again.
What changes about you after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden? I asked Duncan this too. And all I got was, you'll see.
It seems rather cruel of him.
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Oh my god. I eat about the same. I haven't felt anything like that.
Really? Because I was watching you wolf down food the other day, and I thought, ooh, it's a good thing she gets a lot of exercise.
Oh, it gets me every time. What can I say? I'm a growing girl.
I'll say. I didn't mean it like that. No, don't hit me. I bruise easily. Oh, and then there were the nightmares.
Oh, so good.
Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind.
Hive mind.
And when we sleep, it's even
That's
worse.
what the homophobes think
learn
the
to
gays
block
have,
it out
that we
after
have a
a while,
hive
but at
mind. It's like,
first it's
bitch, if
hard.
only I knew what they were
It's
thinking.
supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
I've had some strange dreams.
Some people never have much trouble,
I didn't
but
mean to
that's
hit my
rare.
mic.
Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
His time has come?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part.
Oh.
Well,
love it.
in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age.
I can't die ugly.
You've got 30 years to live. Give or take.
I can't die
It ain't.
ugly.
It's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
Dope. I don't want to die ugly anyways. Why Orzammar?
You'll always find Darkspawn down where the dwarves are. The oldest Grey Wardens head to the deep roads for one last glorious battle. Not that there's a shortage of Darkspawn during a blight, but that's the tradition. The dwarves respect us for it. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. Well, there you have it.
I never wondered that. I
You know,
understand.
Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
You will be remembered.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right? Oh, why, you little...
Oh! What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
There was hardly any blood drawn still. He shouldn't have. He whines and hangs his head.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.